Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how I did my Commander Shepard makeup from Mass Effect. First, I make sure my face is clean and moisturized. It's really important to do this because if you get makeup on a dirty face, well, it's not going to be pretty. First things first, I pop my hair back in a wig cap. My hair is not too long, so it's not too big of a deal, but if any of my hair gets into my makeup, it's going to smudge it all over my face and it's just going to ruin it. But nonetheless, it's important to pull your hair back. The next thing I do is I apply primer to my face. Primer is one of the most important steps of cosplay makeup because it prevents your makeup from creasing or sinking into your pores all over your face. So what I do here is I use a powder primer first using my brush and just use a light bouncing motion. Next, I use Smashbox's Photo Finish Primer Water to make sure I get any areas that I miss with my powder primer. I just let the primer sink in for a little bit before I do anything else. While that's going on, I also apply the powder primer to my eyes. This just ensures some extra coverage, and it'll also prevent my eye makeup from creasing at all. If you notice when you're doing cosplay makeup, especially when using foundation, if you notice that it's cakey or just doesn't look right, it's probably because you're not using a primer. Ever since using primers on my own face, I've noticed a huge difference, so trust me, it'll change your makeup routine for life, no matter which character you're going as. Now we get to some more of the good stuff. It's time to apply foundation and concealer. My most favorite foundation is Makeup Forever Ultra HD, and I am in the color 117, which basically means I have a little bit more of a yellow tone to my skin. When you're applying foundation, there are a number of ways you can do, but my most favorite way is to use a beauty blender. This ensures you just get a maximum coverage all over your face. As you can see, the foundation color drastically changes how I look, and it'll allow me to create new features for Shepard, which is very helpful. Now just a bit of a warning here, when you're selecting foundation, it's important to consider your skin type and your skin color. Of course, the Makeup Forever foundation doesn't necessarily match my skin type, but it does a pretty good job anyway. When you're also applying foundation, you want to make sure that you drag it down your neck because otherwise you'll get some fine lines between your face and your neck, which will not look very attractive in photos. After I get a good application of my foundation, I can go over any spots that I may have missed, just to make sure that my foundation is blended in evenly and perfectly. Thank goodness for beauty blenders, because otherwise I would probably be in a lot of trouble. Now that my foundation is on, I go to my concealer, which is also Makeup Forever's Ultra HD. This is just concealer though instead of foundation. With concealer, I use my ring finger to apply it where I need the most amount of coverage, which is basically under my eyes and any type of acne scars, because, well, I don't have perfect skin. With my ring finger, I apply the least amount of pressure to spots where concealer is needed the most. After I get concealer in the spots that I need, I once again take my beauty blender and go over it to blend it in perfectly with my foundation, so that way it will not be noticeable. One thing about foundation and concealer, it's really important to take your time with it. If you just apply it, well, fast and in a hurry, it's just not going to look good. So please take your time with it. Your face will thank you for it. One important step you need to take after foundation and concealer is use a setting powder. This just ensures that that it actually won't crease or sink into your pores. This step is pretty important, and it's something people often forget when doing cosplay makeup. If you use a setting powder, it'll just ensure that your foundation and concealer will stay on the whole time you're in costume. In case you're wondering, the setting powder I'm using is called NYX HD Studio Photogenic Finishing Powder. It's basically a white or a translucent powder. If you use like a colored translucent powder, it's probably going to cover up your foundation and your concealer that you worked so hard on. Now that your foundation and your concealer are set, it's time to do a little bit of contouring and highlighting. First things first, I apply a lighter eyeshadow color to under my eyes, the inner corners of my eyes, and on even my eyelid to make sure my eyeshadow blends in a little bit better. Once all that is done, I go over to the other eye and do the same thing. Once the highlighting around my eyes is done, I take an angled eyeshadow brush, use a darker eyeshadow to contour my nose. Shepard's nose is quite defined, so I use a darker eyeshadow to contour my nose. I try not to do it too heavily though, because, well, if you do contouring too heavily, it'll look like you just take some dirt from outside and smear it all over your face. But when done properly, contouring can give you the option to create new features, which will really help you blend into your character. Then I just take my other eyeshadow brush and just blend in the eyeshadow perfectly to my face. Once that's done, I take that same eyeshadow brush that I used to blend in the contouring for my nose and take a lighter eyeshadow color and apply some highlighting in my face. First is my upper lip, my chin, and then also the bridge of my nose and my upper cheeks. This really helps get in some pretty good highlighting for your face. Keep this tip in mind. Ultimately, highlighting and contouring give you the ability to completely change your face shape, and it really adds some definition to your face. Shepard though has a pretty round face already, so I don't do a ton of contouring and highlighting. Just around my cheekbones, jaw, nose, and I even define the crease a little bit on my eyelid. It really helps. Now that the base eyeshadow is done, I use my eyeliner. It's time to recreate the shape of Shepard's eyes, which isn't a very easy task. To achieve a similar look, I had to start with my eyeliner at the inner corner of my eye. This really helps make the eyes look larger because, well, video game characters' eyes are pretty large. And then using my hand, I pull my eyelid back to make sure I have an even straight surface to work with when it comes to eyeliner. This really wasn't easy to do, trust me, but thank God for mirrors. One thing about eyeliner, if you tend to mess up while you're recreating the eye shape, it's really not a huge deal. Just remember that when you're recreating the eye shape on the other eyelid, you have to do pretty much the same thing. With lots of practice, you'll get really good at eyeliner. You can definitely see the difference between my two eyes already. Now it's time for the other eye. I basically did the same thing here, but, well, I did make a mistake. I put the eyeliner way too high above my lash line, so I had to fix that. So because the eyeliner was completely uneven between my two eyes, I went back to the first eyelid that I did and really, well, just made the lines thicker, so that way it matched to the shape of the eyeliner on my other eye. It took some time to do this, but after both eyeliner shapes were done, I held them both closed and let the eyeliner dry for a bit. Once eyeliner was done, I used my Smokey eyeshadow palette from NYX to create the slate blue color that Shepard usually has on her eyes. Well, it looks like she may not have eye makeup. It's actually really helpful because, well, she is a soldier, and she's pretty worn out from the fight against the Reapers. And lastly, to finish the eyes is mascara. I use Scandal Eyes Glam in black. Using an upward motion, I pull the eyeshadow along my upper lashes and along my lower ones. Now that eye makeup is done, it's time to finish up contouring. Using a brown eyeshadow and my brush, I use it along my cheekbones, my jaw, and my chin, and a little bit on my temples as well. Once contouring is finished, it's time for lips. Shepard's lips are, well, they're pretty evenly matched, and since my lower lip is bigger than my upper lip, I use my lip crayon, also from NYX, to define them a little bit and to also make them more even. Because, well, your lower lip is bigger than your upper lip. This also adds a little bit of color to my lips as well. Because, well, if I didn't add color in photos, I would just look like a dead fish. Which is not what you want. Then it's time to give my lips a little bit of shine with some gloss. Just to define them a little bit more. Once all the makeup is done, it's finally time to put on the wig. In case you're wondering what this wig is, it's the Indigo in Maroon from Arta Wigs. I will add a link in the description to where I bought it. They also have plenty of other colors, so no matter which character you're cosplaying, you're guaranteed to find the length and the hairstyle that you need for your character. Of course, with Indigo, it was a little long, so I cut it pretty short in order to match her hairstyle. Once I have the wig fully secured, it's time to style it very lightly and get it brushed. As you can see here, I'm recreating the hair pieces and matching them to the shape of my own face, like with Shepard's. Then I adjust the wig until I'm happy with it. And that's pretty much it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and this look into recreating Shepard's makeup. If you guys have any questions, comments, or advice, please feel free to send me a message. Or send me a comment, whichever works. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this.